The Lakers have won their past 2 games against the Pistons and Spurs respectively. Pistons being 3-14, the Spurs being 9-12. But regardless, they were 2 good wins, period. Now, welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is TB. As always, you know I'm coming at you with uncut opinions. I was gonna drop a video after the Pistons game, but being that it was a quick turnaround to the Spurs game, I figure we just wait till the Spurs game is done and we figure out what we're gonna talk about from there. Luckily and thankfully, the Lakers won both games, so it should be a pretty positive video. But before we get into the video, if you're new, go ahead and drop a subscribe for your boy. If you're not new, drop a like on the video and comment below what you think about the Lakers' last 2 dubs. Now, first they played the Pistons. I believe they played them on the 18th, which was 3 days ago, which was Friday. I didn't really have much to say about this game, truthfully. AD did go get us 38. He was 10 for 16 shooting, 18 from 21 from the free throw line. One thing I noticed about the Lakers in this game that I really enjoyed and was pleased to see that there's some improvement is the fact that they didn't fall in love with the 3 ball. They didn't live and die by the 3, especially being a non-shooting team. They only shot 23s to the Pistons 34. Though they only made 7, they still made a higher percentage of 3s than the Pistons. So something like that is gonna need to continue for the long haul, as long as our shooters aren't shooting. I know we technically don't have any shooters on the team, but the ones that are deemed to be shooters, if they're not hitting at a rate that we need them to hit at, we need to keep our 3-point attempts down. Honestly, other than AD in this Pistons game, no one else really did much. Austin Reeves gave us great minutes with 36. He had 16 points. He had the highest plus minus on the team with the plus 14. Austin Reeves is always going to play hard. I kind of expect that from him every night. Not saying I expect the 16 out of him every night, but I expect him to have a pretty good plus minus, play hard, and have a pretty good stat line to go with it, because at the end of the day, if you play hard, good things will come to you, especially in basketball. Lonnie Walker, he played pretty well. Now, one guy that I do need to talk about, and this is probably going to be one of the only negatives of the video, but Patrick Beverley's got to go. He's got to go. And I understand he might be a veteran leader, and I understand he might be a vocal guy in the locker room. However, he's not producing enough. If he's not going to get off the team or trade him, whatever the case is, put him on the bench. Have him in a Jared Dudley role. He doesn't need to be playing to contribute as a veteran leader, as a veteran voice in the locker room. He doesn't need to be on the floor to do that. And to be honest, any and every time he's on the floor, I don't want to say it's mayhem, but he's not doing anything. He had 25 minutes of work. He shot 1 for 3 from the field, all of them being 3s. He had 5 fouls, 3 turnovers. Like, you're not really contributing much to the team, bro. Like, so sit down. It's okay, sit down. Now, the Pistons game, this was Dennis Schroeder's first game back. He had limited time, only playing 15 minutes. He had 2 points, but you could tell his shot was a little bit off. He's a bit rusty, so he's gonna have to get into the groove. Another guy that I'm pleased to see played a little bit better was Kendrick Nunn. He shot 4 for 4 from the field with 10 points, so you can live with that off the bench. Thomas Bryant was also coming back off of injury along with Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder wasn't injured, but they both came back at the same time. Thomas Bryant had 13 points, shot 4 for 6 from the field and 8 points. Now, I'm gonna say this, being that Thomas Bryant went down fairly early in the year, I don't think I realized how important he was to our interior defense. This was more apparent in the Spurs game as opposed to the Pistons game, because the Pistons game, of course, he had limited time in, but in the Spurs game, and that's, I guess, a perfect segue into talking about the Spurs game, he actually had some good defensive possessions at the rim. He only had 1 block, if a block at all, I can't remember, but regardless, he's a great lob threat, because when he would get it off the pick and roll, he was catching lobs. In the Spurs game, he played 23 minutes as opposed to the 15. He went 5 for 5, 5 for 8 from the free throw line with 9 boards. You can live with that. That's good work from your big, especially off the bench, out of all places. The reason why I'm speaking about Thomas Bryant is because I like Thomas Bryant's game more than Wenyen Gabriel. Wenyen Gabriel oftentimes seems like he's just running around and that he's out there for his lane. I don't know that he's out there to actually contribute, so I like to see Thomas Bryant back, but not only being back, he's also playing quality minutes. You can't beat that. Now, in this game, Dennis Schroeder, he played a little bit more minutes, so I think we can expect to see an uptick in minutes from him in these next couple games. So he played 23 minutes. He shot 4 for 7 from the field, 13 points per game. And I'm not gonna lie, I love Dennis Schroeder's game. I don't think we should have ever let him go the first time, but his game is so smooth. You can tell when he brings the ball up the court, he's just ready to make a play. He's ready to do something. Whereas everybody else, when they get the ball, other than AD, because AD AD has been hooping. When they get the ball, they seem like they're looking around waiting for other guys to move, cut, do whatever. Whereas Dennis Schroeder, he's gonna force the issue on the defense, and he's gonna force the defense to react, and he goes off of that reaction of the defense. So I do love Dennis Schroeder in that aspect. Hopefully he's inserted into the starting lineup pretty soon, moving Pat Bev off of the starting lineup. And I think the team will see a pretty good uptick in production with him being in the starting lineup. We'll see our games starting out better, finishing better, things of that nature. AD in the Spurs game had 38. So in the last 2 games we played, AD has scored 68 points, and he's been efficient in doing it. Against the Pistons, he was 10 for 16, and against the Spurs, he was 12 for 19. He only shot 2 threes, and that's big. And the reason I say that's big, and he only shot 2 threes, and that's big because of the fact that AD has fallen in love with the 3 a lot over the last couple years. And even though he was an okay 3-point shooter prior to coming to the Lakers, after the bubble year, his 3-point shooting has fallen off drastically. So him only taking 2 threes is beautiful. Get all your work in the mid-range and on the block, as you should, because you're a 7-foot center, power forward, whatever you want to call it. He's been hooping, doing what he needs to do. He had 30 and 18 last night. You can't ask for nothing more from AD. Those are the exact games you need from AD, especially as your first option. LeBron shouldn't be having those games every night. It should be AD having those games every night, and LeBron supplementing that with 20-25 points. When LeBron does get back, I'm not sure when that will be. I want to say that this team will start to hit their stride. We saw Thomas Bryant get 15. We saw Russ get 10. Russ has been playing a lot better, playing within his role. We saw Schroeder get 13, and we see Kendrick Nunn hitting more shots. And the best part about it is AD is looking like the first option we know he can be and should be. So with that being said, when LeBron gets back, it provides optimism for us as Laker fans to look at this team and be like, you know, they're making an improvement, they're making strides. AD is finally hitting his groove with regards to scoring on the offensive end. Even on the defensive end, he looks like he's hitting his groove with rim protecting and stuff of that nature. So hopefully, I'm holding on to hope that when LeBron gets back, this team can stay on the level of uptick as opposed to either plateauing or dropping, because as of right now, this team is on a steady rise, and I love to see it as a Lakers fan. We're 5-5 at home, we're 5-10 overall. If we can tighten it up on the away games, sky's the limit. We just got to figure it out, keep chugging along, take it day by day. Now, I think this team can turn it around. They have the veteran guys to do it. It's about if they want to do it and if they have the motivation to do it, and that falls on them at the end of the day. Darvin Ham has done an excellent job with the roster he's been given. He's done an excellent job with the pieces that have been put around his stars, and I commend him every day for that, because this team that is put around him is not set up for success. They're not set up to win a championship. So for him to be able to pull out the wins that he is, for him to be able to move the pieces that he is and get it to work is amazing. He's a great coach thus far in his Laker tenure, and I like what I'm seeing out of Ham, the team, and you know, the overall vibe of the team. You even saw LeBron on the bench cheering on the guys. So it looks like this team is in a lot better spirits, and in being in a lot better spirits, they're playing a lot better, and you love to see it. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. It was a slight bit of optimism for the Lakers. I can't be too high because we know how the season started, and we've seen how bad they can look on some nights. So even though this was a good night, and these last 2 games were 2 very good games out of the Lakers that from start to finish, they kept their foot on the gas, we still need to see this done. The next game we play against the Suns, so I'm not even looking for a win necessarily. If we could come out of this Suns game seeing the same level of play that we've seen in the last 2 games, if we could come out of this Suns game seeing the same level of play from AD, then I think we can have a little bit more optimism. But because we've done it against 2 teams that aren't really expected to do anything and aren't really expected to finish high in their conferences at all, it's cool to see, and it's cool for the Lakers to be on this 3-game win streak right now, because they did beat the Nets before the Pistons. But against the Suns on the 22nd, which is tomorrow night, that's when it really matters. That's when we're really gonna see, okay, are the Lakers really progressing, or have they been beating up on 3 bad teams? And that's what it is for me. That's what it should be for you guys. Watch this video. I'm gonna come back to you guys probably Tuesday night. I'm gonna come Tuesday night right after the game, and we're gonna talk about the Lakers and Suns. But until next time, it is your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories and debates on the tube, and you already know what it is. I'm out.